Hi guys, I'm Shmi. Hello and welcome back to the channel, where today you join me to visit one of the most surprising locations in the world to house a supercar collection. I'm at Swap Shop here in Florida, the business of the late Preston Henn, who brought together these sites where you have everything from a drive-in theatre to food markets to discount stalls and stands all around to an indoor arcade as well, and plenty more. And on this particular site there is also a supercar museum. Preston was a big fan, particularly of Ferraris and Porsches, and quite a few of the cars are on display inside. So yeah, you can be here getting your market produce, getting your shopping done, and have a look at some epic cars in the meantime. So I'm going to show you around what's here, a few different locations within the site, and we're also going to head out to see the pinnacle of the collection as well, a very special Ferrari currently at a different location. But this is quite intriguing. It is definitely a place to see. Let's go inside then and have a look at Preston Henn's car collection here at the Swap Shop. You can probably see some of the cars through the glass windows behind me, the first part of the collection, but also the signage gives us a heads up for what we're going to be seeing. The likes of a LaFerrari, a Porsche 918 Spider, a Ferrari Enzo, also a 1960s Le Mans 24-hour winning Ferrari that we'll be checking out later on as well. So let's go inside then and feast your eyes over the collection here at the Swap Shop. Look at this, a Ferrari Enzo, 488 GTB, NSX, F40, F12 TDF, Speciale Aperta at the end. Have a look over towards the other side. We've got a Porsche 930 Turbo, Ferrari Testarossa, McLaren Mercedes SLR, Ferrari 512, Ford GT, Corvette Z06, Porsche Panamera. Just look at these cars lined up here, and also, by the way, a McLaren 12C over towards the far corner. These cars, some incredibly limited and rare special editions. The hypercars from Ferrari like the F40 and the Enzo on display, a free display as part of this museum here at Swap Shop. You've got the cars surrounded by memorabilia, display items as well, in and amongst the different shops around, including here mobile phones, for example. There's a Porsche 935 over that side too, and plenty more to explore. Now normally it wouldn't be possible to go the other side of the barriers, but the team here at Swap Shop have very kindly invited me to make that possible, so I can go in and have a closer look at some of these cars that are here on display. Normally anyone entering the display area is subject to arrest, but today special permission to take you inside so that we can see some of these up close and a little bit more personally. So first up front, the Ferrari Enzo, named after Enzo Ferrari himself, a 6-litre naturally aspirated V12, the Ferrari hypercar that predated the LaFerrari, the more modern, I guess, updated lineage from that line. Alongside it, we've got the 488 GTB, the series production mid-engine V8 supercar, of course the twin-turbo generation following on from the 458 that came before. This car in the yellow paintwork with some stripes, and most of the cars also have some Swap Shop designation lettering and vinyls on them as well. Next to that, we've got the Acura NSX. For us over in Europe, these are of course badged as Hondas, but over here it's an Acura. That paint colour is stunning, and it's always been a car actually that's intrigued me quite a lot as well. Next to that, we've got the Ferrari F40, the poster car for many, the twin-turbo V8, proper driver's car, the iconic wedge shape, that very squared off rear wing, and the view you have through that very large opening at the rear, and can see so much of the engine, but incredibly light, and well, a proper driver's car. To the left, we've actually got a Tesla Model S currently plugged in, a little bit different from some of the Ferraris, but maybe that's the direction of the future. Then we continue, we've got one of my favourite cars out there in the form of the Ferrari F12 TDF, 799 units. This car is in Giallo Triplo Strato, the triple layer pearlescent yellow metallic paintwork. You've got 780 horsepower from a 6.3 litre naturally aspirated V12 based on the F12 Berlinetta, a stunning thing. And then in an almost matching specification, we have the 458 Speciale Aperta, the last of a generation, the last naturally aspirated V8 Ferrari of that lineup. Who knows if we're going to see another one in the future, but only 499 of these as well, finished with the yellow, and also in this case the Nart blue with the white stripe over the top of it as well. And that, well, 458 4.5 litre V8, Speciale A for Aperta, the open top. Ferrari use Aperta for the limited series and Spider for the not so limited, for the series production versions. You've also got some blue down here in the bumper as well. So this is a pretty special start really to this collection, isn't it? Believe me, we have not seen it all yet. This is going to continue, but for the moment, let me head just quickly around to the other side. But you've even got mannequins, fuel pumps, all sorts of different things around that really just add to this and make it even more awesome to be able to explore. So over on this side, we've got the McLaren 12C Coupe. The 12C was, of course, the first car from the new generation McLaren Automotive, 625 horsepower from a 3.8 litre twin turbocharged V8. That's McLaren Orange. That was really the car that they kind of arrived on the market with, brought them into business. We just come around past the cars on this side though to check out this lineup on the opposite side. This is all just here in the open museum. We've got the McLaren Mercedes SLR, the partnership between McLaren and Mercedes to create that. Always a thing I absolutely loved. The iconic style at the front, the way it comes down towards the pointed nose. Next to that, the Ferrari 512. Then we get the 2005 Ford GT. Then we've got beyond that the Corvette Z06, C7 generation. Of course, they have now moved towards the new C8 with its mid-engine as opposed to the engine up front. And then we've got a Porsche Panamera as well, which is actually kind of unusual when it's surrounded by this insane lineup. But look at the back, you'll notice the Enzo model back there. There are all sorts of random things actually to spot while walking around this collection, to see across the different areas. Then we've got the Testarossa. Beyond the Testarossa, we have the Porsche 930 Turbo, some black cars. There's actually, I think, another one of those maybe over the other side that we will be seeing in a moment. Then if we just come around past some of the shops, you know, handbags and wigs. On the other side, we've got the Porsche 935. Yep, the Moby Dick. That is the 1983 Daytona 24-hour race winner. Just sitting right there, and then up next to it, the Hudson Hornet from the Cars movie. I'm sure many of you will be aware of that, and quite a fun thing. There we go, look. Doc Hudson from the movie Cars. That's parked right there, next to, well, a little buggy. I don't know too much about that, but that's just the beginning. Let's continue through, because there is actually a little bit more to see as well. And it continues here in the center of the arcade then. Look at this display, look what we're surrounded by. We've got the LaFerrari Daytona Spider, Testarossa, a GT3 RS, another 488 Spider, in this case a 962, and a Formula 1 car. But let me head just back inside again so I can show you around some of these then, more up close. Just look at this, look where we are, arcade video games, shops all around us, and then here the Ferrari LaFerrari, the hybrid hypercar. I guess actually not technically anymore Ferrari's most recent hybrid hypercar. I think that title goes to the SF90 Stradale, but the LaFerrari, one of only 500 again, 499 originally, I think plus one more, and also then 208 Apertas, the Spider convertible version that were introduced following that. Also surrounding it though, a Daytona Spider, immensely valuable now. This is the actual car used on the TV show Miami Vice, the Ferrari Testarossa in white, very iconic as well. The 488 Spider, literally the convertible version of the 488 GTB we saw before. Then we've got a 962 painted in a dual tone livery actually, the swap shop livery. I think various teams that have been sponsored along the way, different racing 962s back in the past. Like I said earlier, Mr. Hen's love of Porsches and of motorsport and of racing. The GT3 RS then in ultraviolet, and then here we actually have the Ferrari Formula 1 car, a Schumacher car, 1999 car, and this one actually was a race winner itself. You can see that. It was the race winner in San Marino, Schumacher back in February 1999, and it is part of the collection as well. So here we literally have one of the most extraordinary sights, but we haven't actually yet seen the ultimate highlight of this car collection. So we actually need to jump in the car then, to head to another location to see that. This is it then, the car that I've come to see, and what a stunning thing this actually is. The Ferrari 275 GTB Competizione. This is one of only 3 that were ever built, and it is the only one that has racing history, and not just racing history. This is actually a winner at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Back in 1965, in the GT class, this was victorious behind a pair of 250 LMs for the overall outright title, but a trio of full podium for Ferrari. And this car, chassis 6885, is currently here actually at Gunnar Racing, who work on Porsches and restorations, but they have a strong relationship with the Hen family, hence the car being present. But just look at this this thing. It is so beautiful. Of course, based on the 275 GTB4, but it's lower, it's longer, it's wider. Up front, you've got a 3.3 litre V12. Because it followed on from the GTOs, it actually has about 70 horsepower more than the 36 of those that exist around the world. Of course, a few different variations, but some similarities as well in the design and the styling of it, racing up against the mid-engine 250 LMs. But we look around this, actually in yellow. It was originally racing in red paintwork, traditional Ferrari red, but now presented in yellow. Parts of it have been restored, parts of it are still original. It's actually original in the sense that the body has never been removed from the chassis and frame that lies underneath it. But you can see the interior. This is possibly the most expensive car in the world. Just to give you some concept around that, this car, or one of the others with no racing history, back in 2014 was auctioned for $26.4 million. This car has the racing history. The cars have appreciated like nobody's business since then, and well, just look at it. This could potentially be a $100 million car, as has been reported. And what a thing that we're looking at, part of the Swap Shop collection, and an amazing opportunity to come here actually to see it and to see just to be in its presence, really. To be anywhere near it is quite something. And in fact, I've been looking through lots of information. There's even a book about the car, some history of the paint colours, the full documented restoration process of it as well, all fully detailed, everything that's been going into it. And I'm a little bit mind blown to actually be able to see the car, because of course I've read about it, I've seen about it. It went missing from Ferrari for a while, it surfaced again, and it's been owned by the Hens for a very, very long time since, I think about 4 decades or so. And wow, what a special thing to be able to see. Before heading back over, they've invited me to come and have a look around what feels like heaven at the moment. This is a small little museum at Gunnar Racing, but just quickly to show you a series of 962s, there's an RS Spider, here is a GT1, actually named the G99 that they created. We've got one of only 2 914 pickups. Notice there's a pickup flatbed at the back. That is a 911 RSR, full exposed carbon. And then of course here we have the Weissach edition 918 from the Swap Shop, which you will notice instead of Martini on the Martini livery, you've got the Swap logo at the front and around the sides. But the Weissach version of the 918 came with the carbon fiber roof, with the carbon spoiler, with these flicks around the end. You also have lighter wheels, a few different changes around the car. You could add back in air conditioning and that kind of thing. But that's one of the cars again that would normally be on display over in the main collection, but for the time being is currently on display right here. And wow, yeah, I'm honestly, this room is exceptionally special. That, by the way, back in the early 90s, is a 950 horsepower twin turbocharged Porsche, and actually it was built as the first mid-engined Porsche. Something you probably didn't know, but that amount of power back then is quite a mind-boggling number. That, of course, very, very rare, and in fact, just exploring around, look at that. Very, very, very rare as well, because basically these have to be raced under Porsche. I think this might only be might literally be the only one that is currently outside doing other things and all sorts of bits and pieces around. What a special location to visit. And that brings us back then to the Swap Shop, where all of the cars are. Now, Preston Hen actually had even more cars that were part of this collection in the past. Sadly, like I said, he did pass away a few years ago, but being able to see the cars still here at Swap Shop on display, what an amazing opportunity, and what a car as well, with that 275 GTB Competizione. Being able to see that with my own eyes, a car I've seen online many times, of course, particularly with the rarity and significance of that specific car, but then being here as well, where earlier on we saw the LaFerrari, the Schumacher F1 car, and we're surrounded now by all of these rare and special cars on display here at the Swap Shop. I believe there are 3 different Swap Shop locations around the country, but this is the one that has the car museum with all of this. Something totally crazy, and like I said, a surprise location for such a car collection. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, I appreciate your support, and of course an extended thanks to the team here at Swap Shop that made it possible to show you around and show you the cars as part of the collection. That's it for now though. I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.